Happy last day of racing before we kick into the holiday season. Hello, I am Callie Francois. Today I am here with Dave Rodman. Dave, a couple of nice runs that we had yesterday.
Yeah, Saturday here at Laurel Park, producing a big number from Zabra Cadabra. 97 buyer figure for that horse. Absolutely a stellar performance going that one-turn mile. Maybe that's his lick, right? They've been trying him 2 turns, and he's always a consistent type of speed horse, but he shows speed and settle, relax, and then powered away a razzle-dazzle number there. And yesterday, tip of the hat to Severe. 25th win from 63 starts, $675,000 in earnings now. Just a real iron horse. He ran an 80 buyer figure in a very game sprint effort from the Jamie Ness barn. So a couple of highlights from yesterday's program and a good card today.
A great card today. I mean, we're going to get into it. I'm scratching my head at the 6th race that's going to be coming up, but we'll try and talk you through that. Track is fast today. We've finally got the moisture out of it, so yay indeed. Yeah, so temperature just in the 40s. We're gonna have a cold, frosty week ahead of us, so it's kind of one of the last warmer days that we've got going on this morning, Dave.
Yeah, well, we're coming back here December 26th, day after Christmas, right, with 11:25 a.m. post time.
An early post, yes.
11 races on the program and several stakes. I mean, that is a stacked card from Monday. So we'll take a little holiday break. Happy holidays to you, Callie.
Happy holidays to you.
Good luck in the cold.
I'm headed off to the frozen tundra once we get done earlier this week. But let's talk about the not-so-frozen track here and the races that are going on top of that track. So let's get into this first one. In this first race, a one-turn mile on the dirt for the claiming 40 never win 3 for the 3-year-olds. Girls going up. You land on the number 4 Click to Confirm for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. The barn just had a nice win yesterday.
Yeah, the 3 out of the last 4 performances for this filly in Stakes Company kind of over her head, and she actually didn't run bad against Hybrid Eclipse there in the 38 Go-Go 2-back. So this is a proper level for her to try to come back to form and grab a win here. She was 3rd in her last start at a level at which she can compete there October 20th with a good closing kick, and I think she'll settle right off the speed today of cashing big checks from the Jamie Ness barn. A filly who has a good amount of early lick up front, and maybe she can follow through, she can slow it down enough, but I think the pace will be sufficient enough for Click to Confirm to settle with Barbosa from right off the pace. Same for Glosity, coming back off a turf experiment off the claim for Jamie Ness. Ness has 2 in here with cashing big checks, so maybe that's kind of the rabbit, so to speak, for Glosity to settle right off of. So I think they'll both be making runs in that final quarter mile of the second wire finish. They have a long run in. Glosity and Click to Confirm kind of could have gone either way there, but I did Click to Confirm on top, hoping cashing big checks can hang in for second. I mean, she did hang in second there behind Intrepid Dream 2 races back at Delaware Park. Dug in, but they were 8 lengths clear. I'm not sure what was behind them in that race. It didn't appear to be much, but she did try to come back a little bit in that last furlong. Same again with Battle Cry 3 back, and she dug in a little bit and tried to re-rally again there, this speedy filly cashing big checks. So 4, 2, 7, and 1 underrated, and moving to another barn today, but filly who's kind of an even pace Mohayman filly, I think, and from watching her run.
Especially, I think Charlie Marquez is going to fit well on that Ricky Silliman in the barn. I think this is 3rd after the claim for Ricky Silliman, so getting a win last time out. I like that this position for her around this one-turn mile. That's the only thing that I have against her, is where I think the distance of the one-turn mile might be a little bit more challenging to her bumping up back to that $40,000 level. I go with Game Stonks. I take a chance at a little bit of a price to start things off for this Sunday racing, most notably because the horse wanted nothing to do with the turf, in the Maryland Million Lady event. We get back to the dirt. I'm going to refer back a little bit. I'm going to take a chance and really kind of zero in on that race, doing the one-turn mile at Laurel at the 62.5. That was a nice enough field, and I think that field in that race for that particular day transfers to this field pretty well. So Dave Rodman, you go 4-2.
Yeah,
7
she
wide.
she beat my horse, right?
She did, yes.
She beat Click to Confirm back there in February, and again, right, the third office cycle for her. Will the pace be sufficient enough for her? I think the pace is going to be solid, but maybe she needs maybe a little quicker pace up front. I don't know. The race is kind of a little bit wide open there, unadulterated as mentioned earlier. She did beat a horse named Start with a Bang, who did come back to win next out, but that was on the class drop. So interesting race, tactical wise, going 1 mile in the opener. And Callie, completely opposite of me there. She's going with Game Stonks and Click to Confirm for me.
Race number 2 starts the early pick 4. We don't have a ticket lined up with Keith Fusel as he's not here today, although I'm sure he certainly will be putting in a ticket for himself. But this is a starter optional claiming 12-5 event. Scratch in the 6th stalking, going the 1/16th, mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Dave, you land on Clubman, who I have just underneath the Paradise Parade. But this horse, just ever consistent, coming back off of those Parks efforts, and we know Jamie Ness can be consistent enough from Parks to Laurel.
Yeah, Ness going to try to surround him with your top pick, Paradise Pride, and Clubman, 8-year-old veteran who's won 11 races. He's beaten better in the past, but there you go with the Ness barn, very hot. The last 21 days here at Laurel, 8 for 24. 8 for 24, 35%. And believe it or not, a positive return on investment. If you'd bet every Jamie Ness horse in the last 21 days at Laurel, you're still making money, right? That's hard to believe, but that's true. Clubman hoping he can show some of his back class in here. He made a quick middle move at Parks on a sloppy track in his last start down the backstretch. Was into contention, but then beaten by Inequality in the long run. And he ran a little bit against the bias that day, so I'm going to take him on his back class and kind of a middle move last out, and maybe a little bit more patience today. Make a little run at them through the stretch. The Clubman. Either way, you've got the 1, I got the 1A. It's Ness.
We're covered.
Right?
Ness, you're covered. When you do bet the 1, you're also covered with the 1A. You go with Money in the Banksy underneath. Rudy Sanchez Solomon gets John Avello. Really nice performance and just taking a big enough step up today.
Callie, well, powerful in victory last time out. This is another 8-year-old, Money in the Banksy. Kind of beat, I thought, a shallow field last time out. Correct. Where he kind of got away with a slow pace up front. It's possible he's good enough to repeat again today. I'm certainly scared of him. The 1A and the 3, I'm going to use both of those if you're playing that early pick 4 and, of course, in that early daily double as well, or maybe even a pick 3. So 1, 3, 5. Northern Thunder had aim at Penn National last time out. Was caught a little wide around the backstretch run. He was too wide in the first turn, under a full ride much of the way. Kind of had his head up the entire way, right? Okay. And he didn't kind of put his head down and follow through with it. But I think he'll be part of that early pace today, Northern Thunder with Barbosa aboard.
Absolutely. Race number 3 is claiming 40,000 for the 2-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs on the dirt. We're going to take a video look at Larimore and Blow Through Yellow Lights on the November 7th race.
Yeah. Okay, they're going to face each other again today. Blow Through Yellow Lights was beaten by Larimore here. Down the backstretch here. Here's Larimore, right? Rocketing to the early advantage. And here comes Blow Through Yellow Lights, who's going to blow right by him down the backstretch. And it looks around the turn as if Larimore may have been done. But he found a gear to re-rally down to the inside. So Yellow Lights is going on with it here now down the stretch after dropping back. And here comes Angley when he got to the outside. Larimore re-kicks again to beat him, I thought, pretty solid. Big effort there on the pace. So this race is a very tricky race to me, pace-wise.
Super tricky race. I mean, here's the thing. I thought that was a really nice ride by Walter Rodriguez on Larimore, so it's going to be tough for me to assume that we're going to get a similar. I mean, Yomar Ortiz, he won for Claudio yesterday. He's hungry. He's ready to. He's getting this opportunity in the barn, so he will be putting in a fervent effort, I think, on this filly. But she needs it. It just seems like she is the type that just needs to be kind of pressed on the entire way. So you looked at her in that video on the backside, and Walter was already scrubbing on her a little, really just trying to encourage this filly and get her engaged. So I think Yomar, there's a chance
Yeah.
Yomar will get to do the same thing with this
And that's
filly.
what I like about this filly today. Again, a race with a bit of a tricky pace scenario. Basarati had good speed in hand there in the Maryland Million, and just faded. Got beat by Chickiness, who was a winner here, convincing winner yesterday, running a 58 buyer figure.
Yep.
Tossing out that last race here at Laurel Park for Basarati, beaten double digits on an inside negative day here at Laurel Park. So I think she's going to be part of the speed. But what about Blow Through Yellow Lights? We saw her with early speed.
Right.
Both of those horses from the Brittany Russell barn. What kind of tack will they take with those two? Angel of Canterbury as well. Kind of a filly I fear a little bit. She applied some pressure to the leader in her last race, going 7 furlongs midway on the turn. She has enough early speed to put some pressure on any of the front runners. So I'm hoping for a horse maybe who can chase and grind like a Lara Moore in here.
Right.
So I know it was like a rail to a 2-path, 3-path trip and then wore them down. But if she could do that again and chase and continue on with it, I think she's a good play at a price.
What's your take on the rail horse Sicilian Grandma for Tom Morley gets the blinkers on, which I think is needed?
Yes. The positive and negative. The
Right.
Shiny Slam beater, right? But the runner-up there, Girl Trouble, has come back. She's ran a third her next start, and she's come back with back-to-back wins
Right.
in her next two. Morley for Flying P. There's a winning combination, right? They have a
Yes.
high win percentage together, and this kind of layoff, Tom Morley with a positive return on investment, adding the blinkers, kind of a little bitty filly, and I can see why they put blinkers on her. That race at Park, she was kind of looking around, kind of shifted in a little bit down the stretch,
Right.
maybe not fully concentrating, but the blinkers going on today, and who's to say, right? Is she going to show a lot of early speed to press this pace, or is she going to settle, get focused, and be able to relax right off of any pace in this race? So she's a tricky read in this spot, Sicilian Grandma. I had to throw her in there.
Had to throw her in there, absolutely. Race number 4 starts not only Rainbow Pick 6, but Dave, you have a middle pick 4 ticket that you put on starting in race number 4. How do you play it?
Yeah, single, and then spread a little bit there. I'm going with Natagar, who really livened up as a first-time gelding. April 9th going to be the single in here off the layoff since May for trainer Damon Dilladovico, and then hoping for some prices in here. Know How I Know is going to be probably one of the favorites in the 5th of the day, but I'm going to use Virginia Fuller, maybe hoping that he can come back to life here. Number 5, Mr. Mosley's 20-1 in the morning line. Interesting. That's a press box horse, so to speak. I know
Sure.
a couple of guys in the press box have been chasing this one, and including Keith and Bill up there, and Delete Savita, who seems to be the logical horse in there, right?
Right.
Now, 6th race, going to spread a little bit there. 2, 4, and 5. Very good race here in the 6th. I think we got the winner covered in one of those 3. And in the 7th race, a little trickier with Whiskey and You out and Arthur's Hope scratched. I'm going to use Yodelit Ehu from the Jamie Ness barn, who finished well with dollarization in their last start together. So if we can get maybe a price there in the 5th, get a mild price home there in the 6th, I think it'll pay all right. $18.
I think you're okay. I think you're pretty brave for putting only the 3 on race number 6, because in my Rainbow Pick 6, I go so wide in that race. I see a lot of different options. I see a just smorgasbord of what's to come in that race. Maybe I go too wide, but I just see, like I said, I see a lot of potential out of a lot of horses in that race. But race number 4, this race, I go 3, 4, 7 with a couple of your selections. Race number 5, that's where I slim down a bit. I kind of go, because I'm doing a pick 6, I kind of go with the obvious ones to go for in that race, because as I mentioned, race 6, I just go absolutely nuts. Race number 7, I go.
Is that at all? It's almost at all, right?
Almost, and it's funny, I almost did, but I could on a pick 6 that's in that number of horses in that field, impossible to do that. So I went 7 wide in there. Race number 7, of course, your obvious horses with the 2, 8, and 3. My single is Prodigy Doll in race number 8. Kind of obvious. Before I had to whittle it down, I did have the 4 Hollywood Walk in there as well. And then in race number 9, for that nightcap, I go in with the 2 and the 3, a $50.40 ticket. So race number 4 does start with the Rainbow Pick 6 and your middle pick ticket in the starter optional, claiming 25. Now we're at 2. 7 furlongs on the dirt. Let's take a video look at your top selection, Dave. This is Nadigaran back in April 9th at Laurel.
Important. He was a first-time gelding in this race. And look at him go. He wants to go.
Right.
He wants to tug along, had a little steady there down the backstretch. I think he'll be on the engine today. I know he didn't follow through in that last race, May at Pimlico, but he's back and he's fresh. So anyway, he finally settles down here, right, after tugging along down the backstretch and chasing what appears to be a solid pace in there. And then down the stretch, he kept up his momentum, but only to finish second behind keeping the edge. There he is going into the turn again, maybe a little boxed in a little bit more. And down the stretch, he's rolling again and picking him up here. And the highlight there in the blue sleeves, the white blinkers as circled. Good second. I think he's going to be on the engine ready to go today. I'm fearful of Wonderwater in here. The horse you like a little bit, right?
Tim,
Mo's Perfect,
yep, I
Baton. Those two horses have come back to win next out, and he gets Angel Cruz in the saddle again. Run him to his maiden victory. Got a good second in now winners of 2 to Oro de Moro. He beat under the radar in there. He seems to be a now horse who had an excuse in his last race, and that he ran into a couple of buzzsaws who both came back to win next start. And it'll be hopefully getting a good clear trip today.
Right.
Pressing concern will probably try to go to the lead in this spot from the inside. Nadigar, Wonderwater will be tracking position.
Wonderwater, we both talked about this horse. Tim Tulloch has this horse in his top selection. I do believe that this is his best bet of the day. So with everything that you brought up about Wonderwater, I just absolutely see that happening and going on. And of course, Moon Warrior, Mark Slavaggio, you have to kind of bank a little bit when he brings a horse down here. Only 11% as of recently in his last 19 ship-ins down here to Laurel. Only 2 wins, 1 second, and 3 thirds. But usually if they're not 1, 2, 3, they're right there in the mix of things.
Yeah, a little tricky read on this horse. I know the numbers really don't show that he's a player in this spot, and Key's got him a lukewarm 8-1 on his morning line, but he responded on a sloppy track, second time in the barn. Who's to say he's not better on a fast track, right?
Exactly.
And that was 3/4 of a mile at Penn, and maybe he's improving, third in the cycle for the new barn here. So he's a tricky one, but I'm going to put all my chips in there on on the single in Nadigar.
Absolutely. Why not? Especially with that effort. I think that horse is going to have a bit of a clearer trip. Race number 5 is claiming 10,000. Never win 3. Going 1 mile and 16th for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the number 4, Mischievous Jones. So that leaves you with 6-2-5-3. Delisa Vita. You go, and these are all of your selections that go in on your ticket, I believe, correct?
Yeah, right. I'm going to spread a little bit in here. Delisa Vita with a trip of all trips, 2 back and winning. He tracked in the 2-path, dueled briefly on the final turn with Know How I Know, who is the pacemaker. He's running against him again today. But looking for maybe the same kind of trip, a little trip out situation here, right off the speed of Know How I Know. Can he do it again? I don't know. It's Alvelo's horse. He knows how to ride him,
exactly,
right? He gets along with him, so to speak. And Del Capuano stuck with him now. Last race he didn't fire, but that was at Charlestown. He's coming back to Laurel Park where he's won 3 races. On paper, looks like he should get another good trip out, but maybe not. Know How I Know is going to try to go to the front and slow it down. Out of that very fast Rominsky race. The 5 in here, Mr. Mosley. This is a trainer change to Jose Corrales after the claim a couple of races back. Going to toss that last race behind Anti-Poison and starter allowance field. Maybe just a new horse right now. We'll see. He has some early speed to maybe sit right off of Know How I Know. At least he comes back to his best form. And Virginia Fulla, who's a deep closer, may not get the pace that he needs. And Giovanni Paredes looking for his first victory as a 10-pound apprentice on the Daniel McKenzie runner, who was on a roll there for a while. And then they put him in some company where they did a couple of experiments, right?
Experiment is a nice word for
Maryland
it.
Million Classic, and then tried the turf with him. Again, out of the Rominsky race, as is Know How I Know, but he's got a good, solid, nice 3/8 of a mile run when the pace is right for him. I just don't know if he's going to get a very quick pace today.
We'll find out. In race number 5, we'll head on over to a commercial. We'll be right back to talk about the heavy-hitting allowance that we've got going in race number 6.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
Here we are back for this much talked about allowance of fare, where I go 7 wide on my ticket. This is for MD Bread restricted. This is a restricted MD Bread going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Let's click in to that video on your top selection right away. That Charlestown run from Jackie A.
Yeah, he's won here at Laurel. He's been 1, 2, 3 times out of 7 tries here at Laurel. I'll just pick this Charlestown race out as a spotlight, kind of show you his far turn run kind of kick and down the stretch kick he has here. He's on the outside in the purple. Was it the purple colors of?
I believe.
I'm sorry. There's the Mopo Racing colors on the outside that was circled earlier, and he's got a good sustained run. Was carried out a little bit, entering stretch. There he is in the blue. In the Mopo Racing colors, the blue and red. And then he goes on with it. He likes 7/8 of a mile. He likes this track. He's in good form right now. So I'm going to stick with him here on top. Now, last race, he finished third behind 110, another horse he's in against today, Gallant Gold. But he was inside, and that was kind of not the place to be November 14th.
Right.
Lots of loopers and swoopers that day, including the winner 110. But once they got him off the inside, he finished with his kick again. So you look at his last 4 races: second, a win, a third against the grain. Last time out, Jackie A.
There we go. I agree that as I said, there's a lot of different options here in this race with the way this is going to line up. So you go with the number. Let's talk about Hemp. Coming back off of a long layoff, but coming back in a really nice fashion for Michael Trombetta and Narrow Leaf Farm. What's your take on the 7 furlongs for Hemp today?
It's going to help him. I mean, he's off 2 5.5 furlong sprints that were fast sprints, one by Airport, another one by the Speedy Al Loves Josie. Just as a sidebar in that race, you know who was 5th in that race? Mo's Perfect, right?
Okay.
And he just ran an 88 Beyer number yesterday afternoon. So you're talking 80 plus. So look at the figs, the Beyer numbers of Jackie A and Hemp. You know, upper 70s, 80. This horse is live here. I think the 7/8 is going to help him. He's finished stoutly the last couple of times for the Trombetta barn. And the key word there, the Trombetta barn, right? They're on a roll right now.
Yes.
They're bad and they're nationwide.
Yeah.
As ZZ Top would say, they won races at Gulfstream Turfway, Aqueduct, and here at Laurel Park in the last 21 days. They're 10 for 30 and a huge 671 positive return on investment. So anything Trombetta sends out there, you got to look at. And there's one of them, Hemp.
But let's look at the sneaky artistic reason, kind of a little bit under the radar off of that Penn Allowance win from Cal Lynch. I feel better having this horse in my top pick now that you have this horse underneath, Dave.
Yeah, well, I've got him in there too. Opening quarter 24, 48-1. He put himself right into the chase in that race at Penn National, indicating a sharp horse that was 2 turns, shortening up to 7/8 of a mile. So I think he's going to be sitting in a good spot. I like the fact that he put himself right into the race, tugged right along, got in there, and then drew away by 6. There wasn't much to test him down the lane. He didn't have to duel, but he looks like a horse kind of on an upswing here for the Cal Lynch barn.
You and I both have Mr. Jefferson coming back off of a longer layoff. We last saw him in July on the turf, so we have this horse running well, but probably just underneath, just to keep things respectful for him first after the layoff.
Let's see, I'm adding it up. How much money he owes me here? I've been following. The horse I thought had a little bit of a talent last year at the end of his 2-year-old season.
Sure, we all did.
Yeah, kind of followed him up, and he did finish 15-1 second in the Tessio behind Joe. Almost got there, but they've given him time away, and he's one of 2 Trombetta runners in this race. He could be coming back at a nice price today. I'm very fearful of Mr. Jefferson of both Trombetta horses in this race, in the going 7/8. But maybe he'll need one. I don't know. I just think Hemp's going to be a little bit perhaps closer to the pace today
Sure.
than Mr. Jefferson will. He's normally kind of a horse who will lag behind.
Absolutely. We could keep going and delving into
Yep.
this race, but you go 4, 5, 2, 7. I go 2, 3, 7, 6. Race number 7 is this allowance for the 3-year-olds and upward going. 7 furlongs here on the dirt. Again, Dave, you have the number 3 on top. Of course, Yodelay Ihu, who I have underneath 4. Jamie Neskett, Jaime Rodriguez. Wasn't able to get out of the gates. Had a bit of an issue. Wide trip last time out.
Well, last out, Dollarization finished 5th, and Yodelay Ihu finished 4th in the same race at Parks. That race back on November 23rd. Both horses were finishing well. I thought Yodelay Ihu finished a little bit better in that final furlong. Had a strong gallop out against what was possibly more of a front-favoring speed type day at Parks November 23rd. I think he'll be right up there today, and they'll quicken. With Whiskey News out, Arthur's Hope is out. Who's gone to the front in here? Certainly not always in a hurry, right? I mean, he's kind of a mid-pack runner. Going to the lead, may try to do just that.
Probably.
Maybe try to go to the lead in here.
It's not going to work with him, though.
Fast Bob doesn't have much
Absolutely
speed.
not.
Air Token, what Air Token's going to show up today? Will it be Dollarization? I mean, he was near the pace 2 back, and again against the grain at Parks last time out. The 3 and the 8, I think, are the 2 principals.
Right. They are. So but for me, with Always in a Hurry, I think not having much of a exploding pace in this race might help this guy out a little bit, because it's going to make this horse a little bit. This horse is pretty handy as far as having a turn of foot, so I don't think that the lack of potential pace is really going to affect this guy today. So the horse is just in really good form. I see this horse really, really nice at targeting and just running within himself. So I have a little bit of distinction for Always in a Hurry just due to that in itself. Add to the fact that we're back at the 7 furlongs. This horse is just going to get tucked in. Whoever's taking the lead, no matter what, this horse is going to get tucked in right nice along the rail, and just I think is going to have a nice solid trip.
Yeah, he's just kind of like been on the tip of the iceberg there, and finally got that stakes win in the Bender last time out with a really good trip. I'm definitely afraid of him in here, but I couldn't use them all.
Absolutely, no,
Yep.
definitely. And so going to the lead, we'll see. That was a failed experiment, I thought, 2 back when he did go to the lead, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. Dave Rodman goes 3-8, 2-5 in that allowance. I go 2-3-8, 5 with those key horses in that race. Race number 8 is an allowance optional, claiming 55, going 5.5 on the dirt for the girls. Let's take a look at Hollywood Walk right away, back on November 28th, in that dirt effort.
All right. First of all, you got to note that Fille d'Esprit is in this race, right? She's coming back in the stakes company, isn't she? On Monday here in our Christmastide Stakes Day, there's Fille d'Esprit, a red cap. Hollywood Walk kind of following that move around the turn there, right? Running a big race, right? Right here, you say, well, maybe she can even win it. That was at 6 furlongs. This is 5.5 today, and I think she'll have a little more kick going 5.5. So kind of after she made that move, Fille d'Esprit was a little too much for her. Again, there's your Trombetta barn. Again, 10 for 30 the last 21 days, in case you missed it, and a 33% win percentage from the Trombetta barn. Rosado knows this horse. He's had a lot of success with her, and I think she'll be in a better spot today. I think that abbreviated sprint with Paisley singing on the inside there, showing early speed. Whiskey and Rye on the outside is going to have to go. Early Zip as well. If those two go at it, Hollywood Walk could find herself in the old PT spot.
Right. That perfect spot.
But you like Prodigy Doll, kind of lightly raced this year.
Right.
But she's kept some really good company, including Fille d'Esprit, Kaylosaurus, Glass Ceiling.
So with that, I'm giving her an excuse a little bit of that. The problem is that she's proven to be okay with an inside post and not so okay with an inside post. So you go 2, and I'm going to key back on the Prima Netta 2 back, where she had a little bit more of a pace on the outside to encourage this filly to keep going forward, where last time out, she just completely kind of missed the bucket a little bit, and so that really took things away from her. So as long as Toledo can get this filly in a little bit more forward position, she's just a little bit more one-paced than really any of her other options. So just keeping her in that comfortable spot, I think, is really she'll be nestled in really nicely in a spot where she enjoys it. So I'm kind of having a little bit of trust in Toledo today to just really get her in the nice position.
Well, I'm hoping for a good pace from Paisley singing Whiskey and Rye, but it is possible Whiskey and Rye here, if she shows that early speed she did on the turf, coming back to the dirt, it could be bye-bye Whiskey and Rye.
Right, exactly. We'll find out how Whiskey and Rye comes back to the dirt here. Let's go ahead into the nightcap of the day. This claiming 5,000, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Dave, you have the number 2 Boondoggle, as well as I do. On top for Jonathan Maldonado gets Xavier Perez.
Yeah, this horse loomed actually at 7 furlongs last time. I thought he was a winner at the 5/16 pole. And then our hoisted mast and Tom Terrific just kept slugging out, kept going there. But the shorten up to 6 furlongs is going to help him. 2 races back, an excuse on the sloppy track, but he's got a fast track today, right? This is the key. And he's shortening back up to 6 furlongs. That race 3 back at 7 furlongs. He did win at 7, but he just didn't fire through last time out. I thought the number wasn't good, but visually it was solid. Right. And he beat another horse in here that I like a little bit here too at a price, and that's number 4 Wall. First off the claim for Gina Perry. They've had success with a couple of claims. Targe naming one, Chrisitude another. They're batting about 50% first off the claim with a real small sample, though. But just an example, horse can move up a little bit perhaps today. Boondoggle beat him only by 4 lengths mid-October against similar competition. So Boondoggle, Wall, maybe they'll run that way again. That's what I'm going here, just like they did before.
What about San Antonio underneath? Gets Carol Cedeno back in the saddle today from those Charlestown efforts with Carlos Lopez on.
Didn't have an easy trip last time out. Was between and a 3-way go for the lead. Had to take some pressure between horses as a beaten favorite. The winner of that race is a 9-time winner. San Antonio's very quick when he wants to be. He could be the pace of the pace in this spot. I'm fearful that he's going to try to dazzle him with footwork today, and maybe Mojack Cat, I'm not sure whether he's going to revert to his old speed form, can try to challenge him. If not, speed's going to take him all the way here. San Antonio, 2-4-3. And maybe Santa Claus coming to town with Whirlin' Curlin' at 20 to 1 in the morning line to cap off, right?
In the Christmas colors, no less.
Yes, rolling late if there's a big duel up front, but that's a big if. I mean, he beat horse back in July at Delaware, High Five Cotton, who's an 18-time winner and did it at a price as well. But he has to come from off the pace. He doesn't have that early lick like San Antonio, nor the tactical speed of, say, a Boondoggle, in my mind. But you never know. Santa sometimes surprises.
Hey, well, Dave,
the Mohan barn.
That may be Dave's Christmas gift to you before this holiday season. But we're gonna wrap it up here for our Sunday chats. But wanted to quickly talk about what's going on Boxing Day. What a card that we have on Boxing Day. Christmas Tide Stakes starts with the heft in race number 4. That Prince of Jericho is going to be coming back, making an appearance in that. Race number 5 in the Gin Talking. Ojitos Bellos, who just went. Malibu Moonshine is going to be giving us we have Miss Georgie, Tappin' Josie. What a stacked 7 furlong event for the fillies. Race number 6 is going to be a maiden special weight. Race number 7, Willa on the Move. Of course, Fee d'Esprit coming back into action, going 6.5 furlongs there. Race number 8 is our Dave Friend Stakes, 6 furlongs on the dirt. 3's over deuces, Wendell Fogg factored in. Going to the lead is entered despite the fact that he's running today. Jackson Traveler, Kenny Had a Notion coming in. Race number 9. I'm just going through all these horses in the carousel. Going 1 1/8 on the dirt. Go Big Blue Nation, Intrepid Dream. Runaway Monet, Hybrid Eclipse, and Malibu Beauty coming back for another battle again. Race number 10 is going to be the Robert T. Manfuso, going 1 1/16 on the dirt. Cordmaker coming and making another appearance against our Nation on Parade, American de Oro. So a lot to offer on that Christmastide Stakes, Dave.
Not only the stakes stacked, but the entire card as well.
Card.
Big fields on December 26th as we come back from the Christmas break. And remember, it is an 11:25 post time, Monday, December 26th. Today at the races, right? It'll start at 10:25, right?
Yes.
Early. So if you
Yes.
want to get Kylie and Keith's picks, 10:25 is the time to tune in here to Laurel Park, and we're going to have to roll through them with 11 races, even with that early start, right? But the weather's going to be nice, going to be sunny, going to be chilly.
Hopefully.
Long-term forecast.
Hopefully.
Christmas weather, holiday weather.
And we'll just be right back. We'll give you guys a bit of an eye rest, but we'll be back right with Dave. We'll go over some more changes and scratches, and best of luck and happy holiday season to you all.
Happy holidays, everybody.